Guys, Asher coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you all here. Today we're going to talk about Giscard the Sigiled, a very underrated, an extremely underrated epic champion in the game. And today we're going to talk about why. But first, a few shout outs to you guys. We have OM, we have Angel, we have Rookie Flow, my something. We have AF Bear. Looking for, I just pulled her. I wonder who that was. I wonder who is commenting on. Rucky coming in, Rucky some more, Rucky some more, Rucky, it's your lucky day. Merry Christmas to you too, because you're going to get yourself a Giscard the Sigiled guide. Shout out to everybody who is leaving these comments, requesting champions on a daily basis. You guys are what makes this channel happen. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and take a look at this champion. All right, guys, so Giscard the Sigiled is a banner lord. He is an epic champion. He is also spirit affinity. So why is this guy so special, right? It's weird. He's one of those champions that if any of you guys remember out there, before he was even released into the game, he got a nerf. Okay, which is very rare that they do that. They announce a champion and their kit, and then they nerf them either right when they're added to the game or right before they're added to the game. That happened on Giscard the Sigiled, and a lot of people were upset about it. I want to say this ability, Lion's Roar, was initially on a 2-turn cooldown, or 3 booked down to 2, or something like that. I forgot what it initially was. Either way, it was just broken, like clearly a mistake. I feel like a design mistake, and I feel like a lot of players held that against him, and I feel like to this day, his reputation is not high enough, especially if you don't have a Mithrala Lifebane, because he brings something very unique to the table that really only she does. And I know a lot of you guys probably don't have her yet, but even if you do have her, he can definitely help you out in a lot of unique areas. So again, he is a spirit affinity epic defense-based champion. His base defense is very good for an epic at 1454. Anything over 1400 for an epic is a base defensive stat. Is it considered exceptional for an epic, right? For legendaries, I would say anything over 1500, right, would be the same category. But we're looking at a legendary Escasolis base defense here, right? On his A1, Foe Breaker attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance when booked, 80% with the Sniper Mastery, placing the big version of a decrease attack on his A1. On his A2, it's an AoE Lion's Roar, 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a provoke, also a shield on himself, 20% of his max HP. So obviously, ideally, we'd have a 100% provoke on a 3-turn cooldown, like a Skaramis, another epic champion who I think is the best provoker out there. But this isn't bad. The fact that it's on a 3-turn cooldown is amazing when booked. When I think this guy's worth booking. If you want to invest in him, I think he's worth booking. We'll talk about maybe, where we could use him without books. We'll talk about it right now. Faction Wars. Then you can get a lot of utility out of this dude without masteries and without books if you're just using him for a faction war control tank buffer, right? Outside of that, I think he has even more capabilities inside the game. We'll talk about where throughout this video, but I think he does justify booking in those regards, right? Obviously, these are valuable skills to have booked out here. 75% provoke is good. It's not great, but it's good. We have an increased defense, Field of Strength. Increased defense, increased attack on the same ability on a 3-turn cooldown lasting for 2 turns. Again, I mentioned this when I mentioned a Mithrala. She has these 2 abilities on the same skill. Now, she also, applies Hex on her skill with an AoE attack. But this Field of Strength is great because everybody gets what they need the most. Defensive nukers get more damage in survivability. Attack-based nukers get more survivability and more damage. And then everybody gets more in between, right? So it's a great buff to have in one ability to have both of these big versions on a 3-turn cooldown. Egotist. Fills his champion's turn meter by 15% whenever they're attacked by an enemy under a provoke or increase attack buff. Great, right? He's bringing his own provoke, and increased attack is very popular, right? Arbiter teams, whatever. 15% turn meter with no cooldown is really, really valuable. I feel like a lot of people just brush over this passive. It's very good. He also brings defense to faction crits by 27%. So overall, I mean, that kit it's solid. It's solid. Is it game breaking? No. But is it all around versatility to use him in a lot of different areas in the game? Absolutely. Does any of this annoy you guys too? We have an application in our clan, but, oh, Forget it. Forget it. Okay, I digress, but the point still stands. We had one yesterday. When you have an applicant in your clan, you can never get rid of the clan notification. It really bothers me. Obviously, I haven't cleared any of my notifications yet today, clearly, but yeah, I don't know. That bother any of you guys too? The application notification? I'm anal about these things. I like to, what do I have new here? Oh, he's coming up soon. He's coming up soon on the channel. I like to clear all my red dots, you know? Anyway, let me show you how I have this guy built out. I wanted to do a little bit of a different build. Obviously, he does require accuracy, requires speed, survivability. So perception works on him. I feel like I always err on the side of perception here on the channel. We did it yesterday with Ulfrig, but I wanted to switch things up a little bit. Because his multipliers aren't that bad, and because he's taking a lot of damage as a provoker, I put him in old school lifesteal. Crit damage you can kind of ignore here. I didn't want to give you an endgame build on this one because I feel like I've been leaning a lot on endgame builds, even though we will be using him in the endgame in today's video. I wanted to go with something that's good for progression, good for endgame, and good for early game too, right? A real all around, because that's how I look at this champion. If I think a champion excels in the endgame and that's it, yeah, we're going to focus on good gear, high level content. But if I feel like a champion is best use case progression, like I do in Giscard, I definitely want to go in kind of an all-around build like Lifesteal. Lifesteal is good because we built him with enough crit rate, so he's actually dealing a significant amount of damage to where he can keep himself alive. He's taking a lot of damage with those provokes. So we have lifesteal and crit damage on him. I think even crit damage is fine. I'd probably prefer perception because look at our accuracy. It's a bit low at 285. I'd really like that over 300, but again, everywhere that I'm using him, I can get by just fine. I have defense on the ring. I have HP on the amulet with crit damage as an ascension stat. I would go crit damage if I was going to run lifesteal, but since we have it already, I mean, we have 24% crit damage between the substat and the ascension stat, so that's just fine. Accuracy on the banner is going to be pretty much mandatory for everybody, I would say, unless you run triple perception, in which case you can get by with HP or defense. Obviously, as a defense-based champion, it scales very well, but we don't want to totally neglect HP at the same time. Speed on the boots, defense percentage on the chest. You can see this gear. I can't believe I even have this gear, honestly, on the account still. Oh, we did get Ascension. We'll take it. We'll take two, we'll take a little bit of it, right? I'm not going to use a 6-star accuracy glyph on this either. The reason I say I can't believe I have this is because I don't use lifesteal on this account anymore, except for very niche situations like this. And there's no speed on it. I wouldn't even keep this piece of gear nowadays. But that just speaks to where I was at one point in my account where I could get utility out of this gear. And clearly here I am still getting some. I have crit rate on the gauntlets. I think that's fine to go crit rate on the gauntlets on this champion. We'll take a look at his multipliers in just a moment here. Again, no speed on these crit rate. We could do a lot better here, but it is what it is. We're looking for speed and accuracy, survivability. Speed, accuracy, survivability on this champion. If we pull him up on hellhades.com, they give him a 3 overall score. What about, do you guys think that's too low? I feel like I'm too critical because I think this website is just one of the best resources out there, if not the best resource out there on the whole internet. I don't mean to always pick them apart here because there's smarter minds than I behind this site. However, I think he's a little bit higher than that, you know? What is a 3? Like a C? I don't know. Maybe. He's a good versatile champion, but he's not going to excel in any one area, but you could use increased defense and increase attack and a provoke in most areas of the game, you know? And that passive, again, I really dig it. You can even use him for arena progression as well, as a control champion, as a buffer, and getting a bunch of turn meter fills. Like if you open up, for example, with a provoke, and he gets attacked a few times, he's going to get another turn where he can come right into the buffs as well, right? So for progression arena, you could do a lot worse in the kind of like that utility spot, right? You have like your speed booster, your debuffer, your nuker, you know, you could use him there, right? Anyway, 3.6 on the AoE multiplier and a 3.65 on the A1. Like, that's a really, really good multiplier considering his defense is already pretty high, right? Valkyrie has a 3 multiplier on her AoE, for example. Now, her base defense is almost 1,600, so she still hits harder. But to give you an idea, he's not that far off, you know? So that's why I decided to put him in lifesteal, because he can actually pack somewhat of a punch, right? Okay, so we looked at his total stats. Did we look at his total stats? I think so, right? 42K, 4,400, 194, 107, 145, 294. Very mid-game stats there, I would say. We do not have him awakened, but if I did, I'd probably run him with... I mean, obviously, you can go Commanding Presence. Probably not going to be using it on his aura unless you're in Faction Wars, but on whoever else's aura. I would say this... So he brings increased defense. I would say Faultless Defense is the way to go. Whenever an enemy attacks an ally under increased defense buff placed by this champion, reflects a portion of that damage back to the attacker. I would go Faultless Defense on Giscard the Sigiled. It makes all the sense in the world, considering he has Field of Strength on a 3-turn cooldown. I wish I had him awakened now. Maybe I'll add him to my wish list, my epic wish list. I think he actually makes a lot of sense to do that too. You could also consider emergency the shield. Is it emergency heal? I'm such an idiot. I'm totally drawing a blank. It's too early that I'm recording this today. It's emergency heal, right? Emergency heal. You can consider emergency heal because he's bringing his own shield. So then you get a heal after that shield expires on the A2. So there's a lot of blessings that actually make a lot of sense with this dude. Masteries, I kept it super, super chill. We went down the support tree. I foregoed getting extra accuracy, which might not be the best decision, in order to go down and pick up lasting gifts and a little bit more in terms of the shield with Healing Savior and Merciful Aid. Lasting gifts, most importantly, to extend the duration of the buffs on the A3 ability. And then on the left-hand side, I think most importantly, sure, we want to go ahead and pick up War Master, do a little bit of damage, extra damage against bosses specifically. But most importantly, maybe Life Drinker, right? Again, this guy, as a provoker, is going to be incurring a lot of damage, so we want to make sure that we can keep him alive while he's filling his turn meter along the way as well. So this is one of those guides that I've talked about before, one of these champions I've talked about before here on the channel, that he's a jack of all trades. We can use him anywhere. I could highlight him anywhere and everywhere, and it would look pretty much the same. So I'm going to show you this Stage 6 team that I've spoken about before. I think I actually showed the same team on the Ulfrig guide that I mentioned earlier, so I apologize for showing the same team again, but to me, this is a perfect use case of where we're going to be using him. This is the most difficult content in the game, you know, or up there. It is Soul Cross of hard mode, Sintranos, Cursed City. And the beauty here is between having a freeze champion in Luria and a provoke champion in Giscard the Sigiled, I can essentially just chill and always CC the enemy team. So right now, this is his turn. We're going to add increased defense and increased attack on everybody, and we're going to be able to stay alive here with Leo, for example. You know, we can kill Leo as well because it's going to remove his bust with Luria's A3. Maybe I'll do a Luria guide coming up here soon as well. Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's do... I don't need to do that either. Let's try to kill a Kemptim. We can't. Awesome. I think in this situation, I'm going to use the... Oh, no. These Samsons can hit very freaking hard. Samson the Masher, if you guys aren't familiar, yikes. He can smack. He can really smack. So we really want to kill him. Then we do. Thank God. Stag Knight, you're the man. Otherwise, we could have just wiped there, right? Do not let this stuff fool you, man. These dudes... These waves are harder than it's going to look with a team like this, right? Because we have a lot of control, a lot of buffs, and everything that we need. Let's go in here. And again, we need to kill him before he kills poor Luria there, right? Ulfrig, it's on you, dude. One shot that guy. That was not a one shot, and everybody's stunned, and Luria dies. All right, redo. I got to A1 cycling a little bit too late there, guys. I'll come to you guys when I get to the second wave because that was my bad. But hey, that's the reality too. I'm never going to cut those sort of things from the video because that's what you encounter, right, in this game, for sure. Let's go ahead and come back at you in the second wave. All right, finally, we've gotten to the more difficult wave here, guys. This is the Biggins, Grazer, baloney stuff here. So now we can really take advantage, and we can actually go in here doing a decent amount of damage. Let's go ahead and get our buffs up. I really wish everybody's stunned and everything. Oh, golly. I really wish we had our provoke one turn earlier. I didn't cycle early enough there. Let's go. Let's see, our turn meter. We might not go next. We need to kill him right now with the A1. Ooh, Biggins. Oh, Biggin. Biggin is doing a lot of damage. All right, Prundar down. Let's go ahead and remove the counterattack. Oof. Or not. Let's speed boost everybody. Ooh. Okay, this biggin right there is annoying the heck out of me. Let's try to pop him off. Anybody close to death? Maybe Ulfrig. Let's go ahead and trade HP with Ulfrig. Add a revive on death over there. Let's go ahead and poke this bear over here. Wasgar. And then I don't think we need to use the A2 and provoke people right now. I think we just need to kill this biggin. There we go. An A1 cycle here on out, okay? All right, so we're almost there. Giscard gets the kill. You can see Giscard's HP is going to be pretty dang full compared to everybody else. Obviously, right now we're fine. But he has the lifesteal, okay? Let's go in there. Now let's provoke everybody or kill. I mean, he killed almost everybody there, right? So he can dish out a little bit of support, controlled damage, be a buffer, and be a jack of all trades, guys. Giscard the Sigiled, man. He's a really solid champ, a good all-arounder. You know, not the best, but certainly not the worst. Can help a lot of players in terms of progression. You can see his damage, not too bad, you know, for a support as well, in addition to everything else he's bringing to the table. Guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And as always, take care, guys.